On behalf of the Remembrance Day Committee, Town of Coaldale, and myself, Dave Schaff, welcome and thank you for joining into today's virtual ceremony, our celebration. Thank you for showing your respect, your gratitude, and your thanks to the veterans who have fought for our freedom in conflicts over the past century. Those veterans who have ensured by their selflessness and their sacrifices that all of us may live in a country and a community where we are free to enjoy the lives that we do today. This year marks the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II and also the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Holland, a liberation that the Canadians were greatly involved with. Thank you to all Canadian veterans for their vital contributions to our Canadian ideals of democracy, of freedom, and of peace. Thank you for your service. At this time, we have a video that we would like you to watch. It is a video that is a tribute to the veterans of Coaldale and area. At this time, I would ask you to please stand for the placement of the colors, and following that, remain standing for the singing of our national anthem, led by Amy Allred.
Color party! From the left, kick, mark, left. Deposit colors. Color party, inward, face. On the left, quick, march. Left, 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 right, left, right, left.
You may now be seated. At this time, I will ask that Minister Glenda Wirt will come forward with the act of remembrance.
They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
At this time, I would ask you to rise. And please remain standing for the last post, the 2 minutes of silence at precisely 11 a.m. And that will then be followed by the lament and the ruse. Following that will be Minister Glenda Wirt reciting the commitment to remember.
Color party, reset, arms.
They were young, as we are young. They served, giving freely of themselves. To them we pledge, amid the winds of time, to carry their torch and never forget. We will remember them.
Please be seated. Each year, the Royal Canadian Legion sponsors youth programs. As stated by the Legion believes educating our youth on the high cost of their freedom is one of their most important roles. We must impress upon young people who have never known war that freedom was won at a cost of many lives, young lives like their own. The students of the Coaldale Christian School submitted artwork to the Royal Canadian Legion, General Stuart Branch No. 4, poster competition for 2020. 3 students won the regional award in the seniors black and white competition. Those students are grade 11 student Kaylee DeBoer, and her winning poster is featured on the front of your program. Grade 12 student Emily Hofsink, and her winning poster as well is within the program. It is on the back page. And grade 11 student Christine Schoen's poster is on the 3rd page of the program. Thanks to those students for taking their time and using their skills to create that memorial. There are also a number of literary works submitted to the Royal Canadian Legion. And grade 7 student Ashen Dove won first place at the branch level and then went on to win 3rd place at the district level. Ashlyn was in grade 6 when she wrote this poem. At this time, I would invite her to come forward to recite that poem.
My poem is called Remember. It was a sad and gloomy night. Many people turned their heads at the sight of war and of terror and of injury. There was so much you couldn't unsee. As the years passed, the war was ended, and the scars it left were mended. Now we remember those who fought. Take a moment to give them a thought. Remember those who put their lives at stake so they could free our country make. And when the day comes, we wear a poppy proudly and declare our freedom loudly.
Thank you, Ashlyn, for those thoughts. All right, I'm now honored to introduce our guest speaker. Warrant Officer Glenn Miller served 25 years in the Royal Regiment of the Canadian Artillery from 1982 to 2007. He's been trained on the use of a variety of anti-aircraft guns, missiles, and radar. During the Cold War, he served in the 128th Airfield Air Defense Battery at the Canadian Forces base in Baden-Schollingen, West Germany, and therein after that also with the 4th Air Defense Regiment. 1991 to 1995, he was posted to Toronto as a recruiter for the Canadian Armed Forces. In 1995, he was posted to Lethbridge, to the 18th Air Defense Regiment. He has instructed on various leadership courses and on air defense equipment at the Artillery School in Gagetown, New Brunswick. He served on the NATO tour in Banja Luka, Bosnia and Herzegovina, where he was employed with the Joint Military Affairs Branch, responsible for monitoring the enforcement of the Dayton Peace Accord. After retiring, he completed his communication arts program majoring in advertising and public relations at Lethbridge College, and he's been featured in a number of military articles for TV, magazines, radio, and newspaper. Mr. Miller continues to be active and volunteer in the community in many not-for-profit organizations and service clubs. He has served as a service officer assisting veterans and their families for over a decade with the General Stewart branch of the Canadian Legion. It is my pleasure to introduce Glenn. He has done so much for our country and continues in doing so much for our community. Please help me in welcoming Glenn.
Good morning. I'm honored to be here in Coaldale to speak virtually at your Remembrance Day service. I've had the pleasure of assisting the community and helping them enhance their Remembrance Day service in the past number of years. I've also attended ceremonies in Coaldale on Remembrance Day and in local schools. And it's in those schools is where I see the torch of remembrance being passed. Local schools do an excellent job in their own community school program, along with the posters and literacy that they also submit to the Legion. This past year, one of the schools had an excellent winning of the entries that they produced. And it's included in Remembrance Day services throughout the year on programs. Remembrance to me means so much as a veteran, as a son of a veteran, and a grandson of a mother who was in the Air Force. Having lived in Europe, I've been to battlefields. I've seen the crosses row on row, and what it means not to just Canadians, but to those people who've had their countries liberated not once, but twice. This year, we commemorate the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II. The Dutch take their freedom very seriously, and today continue in that and showing their appreciation to Canadians. For example, here in Canada, many of the Allies who trained as part of the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan died in accidents. And in World War II, where you died is where you got buried. Like many Canadians, they've never been to their loved one's grave overseas. And the same holds true for those from the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand. When I help schools go overseas when they do a commemorative event, I give them some flags, and they normally have been asked to research a particular casualty. But I always ensure that there's more flags than just theirs. When I know they're going to a particular cemetery and there's 18 unknown Canadian graves, I ask them, on behalf of those back in Canada, to make sure those are the first 18 stones visited. Although they're unknown, they're just as valuable in their ultimate sacrifice for today's freedom. The town of Coaldale has generated many contributions from their citizens who went off to war, both male and female. I came across one who never had children but adopted a boy, treated him like their own son, Dora Hood, who was an ambulance driver. And she is listed on here in the Gem of the West Roll of Honor. And I would ask that each of those names be honored today, 75 years later, by those in the community of relatives to put a face and a story behind each of the names on the Roll of Honor. That way, in future generations, they're more than just names. There's people's stories behind them. As we do this liberation of the Netherlands this year, the 75th anniversary, Canadians will see in Ottawa tulips every spring. But most Canadians don't know the history behind why there are so many tulips, and really it's a gift from a thankful nation from the Netherlands for their liberation. And Canada also had a unique role in helping to provide temporary refuge for some of the royalty. And when one of their family members was born in Canada, that area of the hospital was actually decreed not Canadian territory, but the Netherlands territory, in order for succession to continue. The city of Lethbridge has number 429 Squadron, and in the past you may have seen a large aircraft, the C-17 Globemaster, fly in the area. Many members of the community here served in that squadron in World War II. So the linkage today remains just as important. And for the youth of today, take a look through the change as you spend money and make money. Look on the back of the coins that the Royal Canadian Mint and the Bank of Canada produce. On the back of the $20 bill is the Vimy Ridge Monument. This year, there's a liberation coin. Actually, it's a $2 coin where it finds you. And hopefully, some of these coins have found you already. The first colored coin in Canada and in the world was a poppy quarter. And today, that quarter still continues in our circulation. So take time to remember whenever you look on the back of your money and see if there's a military symbol. And take that special time just to take a pause to remember those who give us the freedom today that we enjoy. Because freedom is not free. It comes at a price. Much like firefighters and police train all the time, in case they get the call, they have the training and the tools to answer the call. The military is no different, but it comes at a price for having current equipment and current training. And as a soldier from the Cold War, when I was protecting the airfields in Germany for the Canadians, we knew we would expect 32 enemy aircraft, and they were only 15 minutes away from flying once they left off their airbase to ours. So whatever was in our locker is what we were using for tools to fight for the freedom. So it's important that Canada has a strong and current military, and I encourage you to support that however way you can. So in closing, I would like to thank you for attending virtually and taking the time to pause and remember, lest we forget.
Thank you, Glenn, for those words of insight. We do appreciate you taking your time to be able to contribute to our program. Now, we also have greetings from the Government of Alberta. At this time, I am pleased to introduce Minister Grant Hunter. Please help me in welcoming Grant.
It's my honor to be here with you virtually to celebrate Remembrance Day this year. We gathered today to honor those brave men and women who have served, as well as those who continue to serve in the Canadian Forces. Through times of war, conflict, and peace, our Canadian Forces have been a shining example to the entire world. We mark Remembrance Day on November the 11th. It was on this day in 1918 when the armistice was signed and guns fell silent on the battlefields. This brought peace after years of brutal trench warfare experienced through the First World War. Since then, Canadians have continued to answer the call in the name of freedom, democracy, and peace. During World War II, we saw a mobilization of the nation like never before, as men and women joined together to concentrate all their efforts on defeating the Axis powers. We fought alongside our allies in the Persian Gulf War, the Korean War, and Afghanistan. We led peacekeeping missions around the world, from Congo to Cyprus. As Canadians, we stand tall and proud because of the service of our men and women in uniform. We know that freedom is not free, that our military forces stand on guard should they be called on again to defend those values of freedom, of liberty, in fact, those values of freedom or liberty that we hold so dear. We know that we owe our veterans a debt of gratitude we can never repay. And we know that we should never take for granted the freedoms they fought and died for. Remembrance Day is our opportunity to say thank you to all of our veterans and their families who serve by their side. So thank you to all those who have served and who do serve today. We will never forget your brave sacrifice and what you have done for our nation.
Thank you, Grant, for your words from the Alberta government. We're pleased that you could participate in our program today. At this time, I would like to call forth Brianka Clausen and Faith Norman. Brianka will recite In Flanders Field, and immediately following that, Faith, who's a member of 3rd Coaldale Scouts, will recite the reply to In Flanders Fields.
In Flanders Fields by John McCrae. In Flanders Fields the poppies blow between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunsets glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
Reply to In Flanders Fields by John Mitchell. Oh, sleep in peace where poppies grow. The torch your falling hands let go was caught by us, again held high, a beacon light in Flanders sky, that dims the stars to those below. You are our dead, you held the foe, and ere the poppy cease to blow, we'll prove our faith in you who lie in Flanders Fields. Oh, rest in peace, we quickly go to you who bravely died, and know in other fields was heard the cry, for freedom's cause of you who lie, so still asleep where poppies grow in Flanders Fields. As in rumbling sound, to and fro, the lightning flashes, sky aglow, the mighty hosts appear, and high above the din of battle cry, scarce heard amidst the guns below, are fearless hearts who fight the foe, and guard the place where poppies grow. Oh, sleep in peace, all you who lie in Flanders Fields, and still the poppies gently blow between the crosses row on row. The larks, still bravely soaring high, are singing now their lullaby to you who sleep where poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
Thank you. Now, an important part of today's program is that we have a number of organizations here that will be presenting a wreath. The laying of the wreath is done as a symbol of respect and a symbol of remembrance. First, on behalf of the Government of Canada, Staff Sergeant Glenn Henry. On behalf of the Province of Alberta, Minister Grant Hunter. On behalf of Lethbridge County, Councillor Tori Campbell. On behalf of the town of Coaldale, Mayor Kim Craig. On behalf of the bereaved mothers, Patricia Damjanoff. On behalf of the Canadian Armed Forces, Corporal Peter Wu. On behalf of the Royal Canadian Legion, Diane Reed. On behalf of the veterans, retired Sergeant Wendy Nelson. On behalf of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Sergeant David Martintet. On behalf of the Coaldale and District Emergency Services, Kevin McCune. On behalf of the 3rd Coaldale Scouts, Christian Islifson and Finley Morris. On behalf of the Coaldale Girl Guides, Lisa Camps. On behalf of the TNT 4-H Club, Ava and Isabella Clausen. A special thanks to those organizations that have attended today's ceremony, that have attended and have shown their respect by the presentation and the laying of a wreath. Thank you. For many of us, it is impossible to fathom the sacrifice that was made by those who fought to protect our freedom. In honor of those veterans, those who fought, those who paid the ultimate price, and those who are serving today, please take a few moments to reflect and to give your personal thanks. And as you do that, I would like for you to ponder this as well. As much as we feel so hard done by in what we've endured over the last 10 months through our year of COVID, it still pales in comparison to the sacrifice that was made by many of those before us, those sacrifices that were made for our freedom. Now, as we conclude our ceremony, I would like to thank the participants, the organizers who made it possible to bring this important Remembrance Day event into your homes. A special thanks to Clayton and Joel Varjse for contributing their videography skills so that the viewers could experience the ceremony despite COVID. Let's remember to encourage all generations to continue this annual tradition of remembrance, to honor the fallen, and to thank those that have served. At this time, I'd like to call back Minister Glenda Wart, who will lead us in a benediction.
As we leave this time, may we remember the sacrifices of the past, work for peace in the present, declare hope for the future, and may the blessings of God be ours, and may we use the blessing of peace to calm our spirits and our world. Amen.
I would ask you now to please stand and to please remain standing for the color party as they will retrieve the colors. Following that, again, remain standing as Amy Ellard will lead us through God Save the Queen.
Go party! Action! Jump! From the left, quick, march. Left, 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 right, left, 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 right, left, 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 right, left, left, right, left. Inward, face. Retreat, colors.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen, send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen.
Color party, inward, face. From the left, quick, march. Left, left, right, left,
Again, we'd like to thank you for your attendance, for your act of remembrance, for those that have gone before us and have made the ultimate sacrifice. For that, we will forever be thankful. That concludes today's service. Go out and enjoy the rest of your day.